guys, welcome back to another video I have for you. I'm so excited about finally filming this video for you guys, but today I'm going to be talking to you all about my Tretinoin journey. If you didn't already know, I have a YouTube channel all about acne and skincare and giving advice and tips for those who are struggling with acne. I have personally struggled with acne for about 9 years now. I got it when I was 11 years old and I am 20 years old now, so I've been dealing with it for a while, and hopefully some of my tips and tricks on my channel can help you out. So if that sounds interesting to you or you're struggling with acne, definitely go over to my channel and check those videos out and hit the like and subscribe button down below, and let's just jump right into the video. So I'm just going to start off from the very beginning. I was 11 years old when I started to get acne, and it honestly just started to get a lot worse when I got into high school. My 8th grade year is when it really started to get a lot worse, and my freshman year were pretty bad too. I had cystic hormonal acne, and if I can find, I didn't like taking a lot of photos of my skin, obviously, because it really hurts your self-esteem. And so I remember I took one picture when I was going through all the craziness at the end of my freshman year. That was when my skin was the absolute worst it has ever been, and I had cystic acne, like all these huge pimples that would start all the way up here and then go down onto my neck. I remember I had one right here. I used to also get some on my ears and stuff, and that was the worst it had ever been. If I can find that photo that I took, I will leave it right here for you guys. So up until the end of my freshman year, I had never gone to the dermatologist. I mostly relied on natural remedies. I always put on homemade face masks. Like a really popular one that I used to make was a cinnamon and honey face mask. I used to wear that all the time. I had the Neutrogena natural the facial cleanser, and that was made out of natural products like coconut oil, lemon, and I was so I was basically just trying a lot of at-home things. I tried oatmeal on my face, all sorts of fruits and veggies on my face. I tried like the oil cleansing. I did everything. But there's only so much you can do when it's part of your genetics and you're, a teenager going through puberty. There's just so much you can do. So I went to the dermatologist, and they, my face was inflamed. And first thing that they usually do is they give you an antibiotic. And they gave me minocycline, and that is part of the tetracycline family. It's very similar to doxycycline, which a lot of people are also prescribed when they go to the dermatologist. But usually that happens when you first go to the dermatologist, or you're someone that has a lot of crazy acne. I can almost guarantee you that when you first go, they're going to give you an antibiotic. And that's a good thing, in my opinion, because antibiotics are used to help to basically calm down your skin. And there's only so much you can do when your skin is so inflamed like that, because it's so irritated, and if you put like anything on your skin, it's just going to get more irritated. So what they do is they give you an antibiotic to bring down the irritation on your skin, which is what they did for me. And guys, the minocycline on my skin worked amazing. I had never had that clear skin for so long. And I was also using something called Epiduo. Epiduo is adapalene, which is basically differin, combined with benzoyl peroxide. And then they also told me cut out all of the natural stuff, because those surprisingly can be irritants for the skin and they're just not good. And so that is when I finally was introduced to CeraVe. I love CeraVe. CeraVe, please sponsor me. So he suggested I started using CeraVe products because they're very gentle and good for people with acne, and they're at the drugstore, so they're not crazy expensive. I mean, they're not the cheapest skincare. They're definitely a little more pricey at the drugstore, but they're not going to be like super crazy fancy products that you'll find at Sephora or Ulta or something like that. So once I started using those gentle products and using minocycline, and I was also using Epiduo around every other night, every third night, just to kind of ease my way into it, my skin was getting so much clearer. So I was on minocycline for 6 months. You don't necessarily really want to be on an antibiotic for much longer than that. So after those 6 months, I stopped taking minocycline, and I was relying just on Epiduo and the CeraVe products. And then once I got off of minocycline, I started to break out again, which that happens to a lot of people. So it's completely understandable. Your skin will break out again. You can find all sorts of videos on YouTube and everything. So because I was breaking out more, I switched to using Epiduo almost every single night. And I did that for about 2 or 3, I feel like 2 months, but that is what like destroyed my skin. I didn't have a lot of breakouts necessarily. I still had a lot of hyperpigmentation spots and some pimples, but my face looked sunburned. It was so irritated. I remember at its peak of pain, I would get out of the shower and my face would be stinging. And I didn't even put anything on it yet. Like, that was before I put anything on it. And that is how bad the Epiduo, like, irritated my skin. It, like, burned my skin. I'm not even joking. It looked like people, my friends would be like, do you have a sunburn or something? Like, did you go to the beach this weekend? Like, why is your face so red? It was like, and you could tell it was from something I was putting on my face, because it was only in the areas where I was applying the Epiduo, because it would stop like right here. So my cheeks were so red. And yeah, it was not fun. I used to be like crying so much because of how much pain I was in. Not even from the specific pimples, but because of how it felt, like how it felt like my face and my skin was burning off. Like, it was stinging so bad, and that was like every day for multiple days. And I mean, I was wearing sunscreen and stuff during this whole time, so it's not like I really was sunburnt or anything. It was literally from, but I didn't know that it was from the Epiduo, so I went to my dermatologist again and had a little checkup appointment, and I told them everything I'd been using, but I wasn't sure what was causing. I didn't know that a product could cause something like that. I just thought that that was my skin, like, being crazy or something. I don't know. I was like 15, so I didn't know. So I talked to my dermatologist, and they said, well, you might have rosacea because your skin is really red. And so then they prescribed me a product called Zoolantra, which is basically for people with rosacea. It helps the symptoms and redness of rosacea, and he also told me to start using a different moisturizer. And I started using like this, I think it's called Avene. It was this like French branded moisturizer, and it had a green tint to it, and that would help block out the redness of my face. But it didn't really work well because it was very moisturizing, and I have pretty oily skin, so it was just like a mess. So then my skin started getting a lot worse. After that, I was using Zoolantra in the morning and Epiduo at night, and the new moisturizer along with that, and my skin was getting even more red and even more burning, and it was not fun until my dad was like, why don't you like stop using all of this and just simplify it to a face wash and a moisturizer? And I was like, oh, maybe you're right. So then that is what I did. I remember we were on the way home from school. He was driving me home, and I was talking to him about it, and he was like, yeah, just like calm down and use your, calm things down and use your face cleanser and your moisturizers, and that's it. Like, try to cut out all of that stuff. So that's what I did, and literally within like a week, my skin felt so much better, and the redness had gone down a ton, and my skin was clearing up. Like, I didn't have a ton of pimples, but what was there was starting to clear up, and my skin was starting to just calm down overall. And I was only using like the CeraVe moisturizer and SPF and the facial cleanser. So then that was working well for me for about 3 weeks maybe. Right after that, I noticed my skin was still breaking out. It wasn't as bad as before I first went to the dermatologist, like my freshman year. It wasn't as bad as that, but I was still having painful breakouts. So we went back to the dermatologist, and I told them, I was like, y'all, Epiduo does not work out for me. And they said that is normal because benzoyl peroxide, which is one of the ingredients in Epiduo, they said benzoyl peroxide doesn't work well for some people. And usually it really helps fight off the bacterial stuff on your skin. And they were like, your acne isn't necessarily caused by bacteria. It's internal. It's, it's from your genetics and your hormones, basically. It's not from bacteria or not being good with your skin. So benzoyl peroxide doesn't necessarily work for me. It gets my skin very irritated and actually makes it worse. So they were like, we're going to cut the Epiduo, which I had already done because I'm like, this is hurting my skin. So then he suggested going on a birth control and starting a retinol, such as tretinoin. And the birth control, I honestly didn't really notice that much of a difference. The tretinoin, when he gave that to me, it was in 0.025%, and I don't necessarily remember a purge that much, honestly, because my skin was just so like irritated already, and I just didn't give a crap, and I just wanted to clear my skin. I don't remember a purge really, and because I don't remember it, I don't think it was that big of a deal. I know that some people do get a pretty bad purge, but I'm not really sure. I think my skin has just been through so much that I just didn't really find it memorable. So I started tretinoin, and guys, tretinoin cleared my skin. Like, I was using tretinoin and Dapsone. It's like a topical antibiotic, and I used the Dapsone in the morning and the tretinoin every night. I eased into the tretinoin. It took me like about a month to finally get to using it every single night. But I used that legit all the way, probably halfway through my freshman year of college. So I used it from the middle of sophomore year all the way through the beginning of college. And guys, tretinoin worked wonders for my skin. My skin was basically clear like all the time. My hyperpigmentation by my senior and freshman year of my senior year of high school and freshman year of college, my hyperpigmentation was starting to calm down a ton, and it was almost gone. And I mean, my skin was I did not have to worry about it for a good like 2.5 years. It was great. And then I ran out my freshman year of college. I was away from home. My dermatologist was all the way like 4 hours south of me, and I ran out of tretinoin, and I was like, that was like almost 3 years ago. I probably don't need to get it again. I probably don't need to go to the dermatologist, like my hormones. Like some people just grow out of their acne and stuff. So I was like, yeah, that's me. And nope, because I was good. I ran out of my tretinoin and I lasted pretty much until August. So I would say I ran out around January, and my skin, I noticed that it was starting to break out just a little bit, but nothing crazy, like little comedones on my forehead. But once August hit, that is when my skin started getting worse. So August of my sophomore year of college is when my skin was like going cuckoo again. So because I started breaking out, my skin definitely needs that tretinoin. So I went, and because I just didn't want to go to the dermatologist, you know, being in college. I didn't, one, have time. Two, I didn't want to have to go and pay for everything because that's expensive. And so I did some research, and that is when I found Differin. And if you don't know what Differin is, go check out those videos on my channel. I talk all about Differin. It's a retinol you can buy at the drugstore, and so it's very similar to tretinoin. And so I bought that, and it made my skin a lot better because my skin was starting to freak out so much again, like it had before, you know, I'd ever went to the dermatologist. My skin was going back to that, and Differin really helped out my skin. The purge I had with Differin, though, lasted almost 2 months. That sucked. But Differin, the results that I received from it weren't what I exactly wanted. So that is when I went back to the dermatologist. They gave me doxycycline and tretinoin 0.05%, and up until now I've been using tretinoin again, and I really like it. Tretinoin worked really well for my skin, and it still is. I don't think it is going to cure my acne though, and I don't want to have to be on tretinoin forever. So I would, if you are considering tretinoin, I would, one, follow what your dermatologist is saying, because, you know, they know best and they know how, you know, to do things. But I would, you know, go through with, you know, if they suggest you using tretinoin. I think tretinoin is a great product, and it works really well for some people, and it's awesome for anti-aging too. So I think that's great. Using tretinoin though, if you get a pimple or anything, it goes away so much faster than it would without using it, and that's because it helps to improve cell turnover. It just increases the rate of your skin processing, if that makes sense. So I think tretinoin is a really great product, and you guys should definitely try it out if you are considering going on it. And it's also good for people who aren't necessarily struggling with acne. It's great for anti-aging, and just overall in general for your skin. So I would definitely go check it out. If you guys are using tretinoin, or if you've used it in the past, tell me about your experience down below. I really love learning about your guys' acne stories and products that works for you, products that don't. But if you've been on tretinoin, what was your experience like? Leave a comment down below, and I will go and read them. I love reading everyone's comments. I've gone through everyone so far on my previous YouTube videos, so definitely do that. But I will keep you guys updated with my acne journey and what I am going to be using. Things are going to be changing really soon, so fingers crossed. We'll see. I will tell you this, that I still really like tretinoin, but it is not a solution for my skin. So I will keep you guys updated. Stay tuned for a video coming up really soon. And I hope you guys are staying safe during these crazy times. And thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time.